Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Cahill and welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time since I have graced YouTube with my presence. I say that like it's YouTube's privilege to have me here. But let's be honest, it's been a very stressful and overwhelming few months for me. Just because of life, you guys know how it is. I've been debating over the past few weeks whether or not to make a return to AuthorTube. I went back and forth about whether or not I wanted to do a video or not, but with it being Preptober and NaNoWriMo looming around the corner, I thought, you know what? There's not really a better time to try and put myself back into the narrative that is AuthorTube and the writing community. So here we are. This video is probably going to be a mess. I ain't going to apologise for it. Basically what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do three things. I'm going to sort of break down what has been going on in my life writing wise over the past few months that I have not been here. I'm going to talk about Preptober and what I am planning to do in regards to prep for NaNoWriMo, and then I'm going to be discussing my project for NaNoWriMo. All the stress and all the overwhelming stuff hasn't really occurred like because of in the writing community. It's mostly work related. I'm working a lot more hours than I used to. I got a promotion, which means I'm basically the one in charge, and that's been sort of new for me to adjust to job wise and anxiety wise and life wise. It's been very difficult for me to find the time to do writing or to be with the writing community. It's been very difficult to find the energy and the motivation to do those things also. And obviously me not doing those things just gives me more anxiety and stresses me out even more because I'm not doing what it is that I love to do and want to do. So, you know, big spiral of all of that. Some days are better than other days. Some weeks are better than other weeks. I think the best week I had writing wise was my week off from work, where I just had time to sit at my computer throughout the entire day, and most of that time would be spent doing some work in regards to the many projects that I have and the many different stages that they are at. And while I don't feel completely comfortable with the amount of time that I have to spend on resting, on family and on doing the things I love, I figure that if I don't do them or don't try, it's just going to get a lot worse, and I would rather reluctantly put myself back out there and make an effort and hope things improve because I'm giving it a try, rather than not feeling up to it but not doing anything about it and just making myself feel worse. As far as writing goes, I haven't actually worked on very many of my projects. I did most of my work on Abingdon House. I'm busy revising the first book of the series because I want to start querying it. I say I wanted to start querying it this year. That's not going to happen now. I want to start querying it eventually. Started revising it, going in blind, managed to find some beta readers for it who gave me their feedback very recently, and they sort of pinpointed or picked out the things that I thought I knew was wrong with Abingdon House in the first place. But no one else who has read the novel has ever picked up on these things, so I sort of was just like, but no one else has noticed, so that must mean that the book is fine and I can just continue revising in the really rushed, non-detailed way that I'm currently revising, because as it stands, everyone who's reading the book hasn't had a problem with how it is set out and how it's portrayed and the stakes and the plot, etc. But the two beta feedbacks I've just gotten for it actually delve into what I sort of knew the issues were, but just didn't want to sort of accept them in case I was wrong. So they sort of validated my feelings on those. I've sort of paused revision for it at the moment while I have to rethink how I'm going to go about revising it and the new things that I need to add into the plot in order to, yes, up the stakes in certain ways, take out the bits that make the story feel like it's dragging a little bit, which to be fair isn't a lot. It's not going to be a lot of revision or a lot of thinking about or a lot of brainstorming. A lot of it is the pacing of the beginning of the novel and the way certain things are set up, and just a bit more activeness on Hazel's part of her journey to make her want and her goal a little bit more clear-cut than it currently is, and to make it make a little bit more sense are the plans that I have. And I've got a few notes on what it is that I need to do, or what it is that I want to do, I should say, in order to make those improvements. One of which is giving Hazel higher stakes than she currently has. At the moment, she's adopted. She finds out she's the heir to Abingdon House through her birth family, and her motivation for attempting to do these 3 trials in order to become the head of Abingdon House is so she can get to know her birth family. And it sort of occurred to me, like, what's stopping the people who know about the Abingdon House just telling Hazel anyway what she wants to know? So while it's sort of an okay motivator to want to know more about your birth family or be involved in your birth family's legacy, there needed to be something more that is going to drive her further and harder to achieve this goal, rather than just but I want to know about my mum and dad, which I could find out from library books probably, or talking to the right people. You know, I don't know why that didn't occur to me before, actually. But I think I figured out exactly what it is that I need to do in order to push her, and in order to sort of focus her and drive the themes of family as well that also exist within the book. So when I get the urge to do more work on that, I will be very excited to start making all of those changes and everything. And then it's just me cutting out bits that aren't necessarily needed, speeding up the plot a little bit. I've been reading one of the very few books this year. I've been reading Amari and something. I've been reading Amari and the Great Game. I say I've been reading. I took my husband to the dentist the other day, sat in a car while he was in his appointment, and read the first 100 pages. This was yesterday. I started this book yesterday, but this is one of my new favourite middle grade series. The first one came out last year, read that, loved it. This is the second book in the series. I've been meaning to read more middle grade or upper middle grade. I've also been meaning to reread Percy Jackson, because I feel reading those books will help me more with the revision for Abingdon House, because I want them to have sort of the same style, same feel, same sort of level of adventure, I guess, and level of darkness that these books have. Not that these books are inherently dark, but there's middle grade and then there's upper middle grade. So I want to know, you know, how much can I put in without it being too much or not enough? So reading Amari and the Great Game, or at least reading the first 100 pages, is sort of helping me live with the fact that the first chapters of Abingdon House aren't overly actiony or aren't overly adventurous, because that was also one of my fears, that it wasn't interesting enough. But obviously reading the first of this is like, okay, it doesn't need to be overtly interesting. Small things can happen to keep the reader's interest before the big stuff starts happening. And I'm not typically one to overanalyze books. Sometimes I feel if I analyse books as to how they're set up and how the plot plays out and how the character arcs are built. I also started a new story during the past few months, which I really didn't need to do, but I did. I'm going to blame Kate Kavanagh for this one. She's not directly responsible, but she recently did a video where she was talking about titles, and before that she'd posted on her Patreon survey in regards to titles. And when I was answering the survey and she was asking questions about what do these certain titles invoke in you, like what genres are they, what plots do you think they are, me going, oh yeah, this title sort of gives this plot vibes, and I was just like, oh damn, there's a plot that I like and that I'm now going to brainstorm and come up with the characters and face claims and the storyline and this, that and the other. So thank you, Kate Kavanagh, for that. I really do appreciate it. It is a YA, I want to say it's a YA paranormal fantasy. It is sort of like a dark academia fantasy vibes set in a boarding school with mythical planes of existence and powers and things haunting the school and maybe murdering students. I don't know. Anyway, it's basically an idea at this point, and basically all I've been doing is brainstorming, and it hasn't really seen any fruition from that. It is very exciting to think about, to read, to sort of branch off into a different sort of vibe of a story than I am used to. So there's that. I reread one of my old novels, Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, and had ideas to start revising that because it needs revising. Never actually started revising it though. I reread some old scenes for Osase Yoit to restart working on a second draft of that. Never actually ended up doing it. That's about it. I've had ideas to do stuff and then just haven't done it. It's not a British Ramble video if I don't have tea, is it? I also couldn't decide at first whether or not I wanted to sign up for NaNoWriMo. My whole being at the moment is I'm not bothered to do any work. So I didn't really want to sign up to NaNoWriMo and give myself the goal of having to write 50,000 words in 1 month when I don't even feel like writing 10 words now. But the competitiveness and the inherent fact that I don't want to break my current streak sort of overrided any negative feelings I was having regarding having to write 50,000 words. So I have signed up for NaNoWriMo. My project is fuck knows, because I have no clue what I'm going to be doing. I don't want to say I'm going to write 50,000 words of the new novel that I have in my head because I don't feel confident that I'm going to be able to do it. But then I also don't want to just give myself 50,000 words of revision of one of my other projects to do because I don't feel confident that I'm going to do it. I don't know why I've signed up to NaNoWriMo if I don't feel confident that I'm going to do it, because all I know is what's going to happen is I'm not going to achieve the win and I'm just going to feel crap. But I was sort of ignoring that part of my head at the moment, that is screaming that this was a terrible idea. But taking part and failing, or not taking part at all, give me the same disappointed feelings either way. So no matter which one I did, I would still feel disappointed in myself for 1, not attempting it, or 2, failing. So at least this way I might not feel disappointed at the end if I win, and maybe it will give me the kick up the arse I need to do work every day regarding all of the projects that I have. Maybe it'll make me feel worse and I'll fall even deeper down a spiral of burnout and overwhelmingness. We'll see. We shall see. I think mostly my plan for NaNoWriMo at the moment, despite it being fuck knows, is to just do whatever. Maybe I'll take all my projects and stick them all in a box, and then every single day I'll just pull something out of the box, and whatever I pull out, that's what I write 1,667 words of that day. It will push me to get further into all of the work in all of my projects, which 1 is a plus. 2, it gets rid of the overwhelming nature of having to focus 50,000 words on one single project when I'm not feeling it. Great, plus. And it sort of just gives me an entire day to mull over one project that I need to mull over, and it's only 1,667 words of revision, or of brainstorming, or of just doing a scene that won't be seen in regards to one of my novels to better understand the characters or their motivation, which is always a fun thing to do when I can't think of anything I want to write for the actual novel itself, but I have a scene in mind that I don't think we'd ever see in the novel that I could write instead. Let's call it a writing exercise, sure, why not? So that's me sort of just deciding on the plan that I'm going to do for NaNoWriMo. I was going to tack on other ideas after that initial one of just pulling the names out of the boxes, but that seems to fit me more better than me trying to come up with anything else that I would do. So that's what I'm doing for NaNoWriMo. 50,000 words of a mishmash of every single project that I have going at the moment, which I have a need to talk about all of them now, but also I'm not really bothered to do so. Abingdon House, Beneath the Hawthorn Lies, Sasayowit, Project Body Swap, They Leave the Hunt, and it's Project Dark Academia, isn't it? And Project DA. Six, not including rewriting Abingdon House number 2, which technically is also on my list of projects, so 7. That is all of them, isn't it? 7. I'm not going to go through them here. I don't have the spoons for that. Suppose all that's left is what I'm planning to do for Preptober, which really is just finding the motivation to actually do some writing. I think is what I need to do in the 15 days left of October. I don't know what day it is right now. I need to do something to help me feel more motivated. And I know why I'm not feeling motivated. It's because I've got so much going on. And if it's not work, it's kids, constantly tired all the time because I'm at work all the time. So I revenge procrastinate my bedtime, so I'm going to bed late and waking up in the morning early. And there's just always a lot coming at me. And I can't stop the stuff that's coming at me because it's my job and it's my family. So it's basically my life. And can I stop my life for 30 days? No, I can't. So I need to sort of find a coping mechanism or something to help relax me, or some of this, that and the other. You know what I mean? And I suppose Preptober is going to be me sort of trying to work on my motivation. Maybe test some things out if you guys have any ideas, or how you break through struggles with writing or burnout or the motivation to write in general after a long day of work. Please drop them down in the comments below because I would appreciate any help that you can give. But that is going to be my Preptober, because I don't need to prep anything for my novels. I need to prep my brain. My brain needs prep in order to write 50,000 words. I'm really sad because it used to be so easy for me to do it, and now it's so difficult, which sucks. But that's the way it is, and part of being a writer is sort of making writing fit into your life, not making your life fit into your writing. So that is everything for this video. Thank you so much for listening to my British ramble. I really have missed being here, and I really have missed all of you guys, and I hope this sparks the beginning of me being back a little bit more permanently, although it does remain to be seen. Let me know down in the comments below if you're partaking in Preptober or NaNoWriMo and what project you're going to be working on, and I will hopefully see you next time. Good thoughts and happy writing.